There is a TikTok trend currently going around where parents encourage their children to fake blind. Thank you to Squarespace for sponsoring this video. Before I get any further into this video, I want to thank Squarespace for sponsoring it because I know the moment I start ranting on this topic, I'm not going to be able to stop. So before I get into that, I want to thank Squarespace because sponsors like them really support me in being able to make content like this. In case you're not familiar, Squarespace is your one-stop shop to build a beautiful online presence for your brand. If you are an entrepreneur and own your own business, you need a Squarespace website. I actually have had a Squarespace website, mollyburkeofficial.com, for years now, and we just updated it. So I'm sure none of you are like casually surfing my website. So if you haven't seen it, here's the reveal. We've got updated photos with me looking like myself with brunette hair. We got like cute little Elty there. It is so much better. Like I'm so obsessed with this brand refresh we have on the website. And my boyfriend was kind enough to actually implement like all of the changes for me because he also has a Squarespace website for his business. So he's like super familiar. And he was able to make all of these changes so quickly. I was shocked. On my website, you can see that beyond my homepage, we obviously have like my about with my bio and stuff. Then we have pages for things like my speaking, my consulting work, brands I've partnered with, press, where you can contact me. And of course, I have a page for my book. And there's so much more that you can do with your website than I have done with mine. For example, you can sell content. So they make it very easy to set up a paywall that has a blog, video content, courses, and all sorts of stuff. You can earn recurring revenue. You simply pick your price and decide whether you want to do a one-time payment or a monthly or a subscription service. Alternatively, if you want to sell physical products or services in another way on your website, you can invoice your clients directly from the site. You can create proposals, estimates, and contracts all on your Squarespace site. Overall, it can really help simplify your workflow. And finally, speaking of getting paid, something we all love, there is so many ways to get paid on Squarespace. Onboarding is fast and simple, just a few clicks, and you're ready to be paid right away. You can give your clients more ways to pay with popular payment methods like Afterpay, ClearPay, Apple Pay, ACH, and Klarna. There's so many different ways to be paid, I literally forget every single time I do one of these. And if you would like to build your Squarespace website, you can head over to squarespace.com/Molly Burke to get 10% off your purchase of a website or domain name. Now, on to the reaction. Speechless. Well, we'll find out soon that I'm not speechless. I've got a lot I want to say on this, but I am like in utter shock and disbelief that we are even here having this conversation in the year 2025. What is happening? Why? This is the most disgusting, disturbing TikTok trend I have seen in a very long time. And sure, I could have just made a 60-second TikTok, but girl, we can see I have way too much to say about that to condense this into 60 seconds. I need to rant. So, for those who are lucky enough to have no idea what I am talking about because it has not popped onto your feed, let me explain. There is a TikTok trend currently going around where parents encourage their children to fake blind. Essentially, it is like, from what I've gathered anyway, because let me be clear, I have not consumed any of these videos on these people's actual accounts. And I encourage you also to not do that. Please do not go and watch these after I share this and you learn about it. Don't go search them, okay? I started seeing people on Blind Talk piping up and discussing this, and I was like, girl, what? I have not seen this. What is going on? And I didn't want to seek it out, but also I was like, I'm not gonna speak on it unless I've seen it, so I can have my own opinion on it. But then this wonderful creator who I'll have linked down below in the blind community created a montage of some of the video clips so that we could watch it without supporting these people. So I will have that video and her content linked in the description box below if you want to go check it out. And for context, I will also play that video of that little montage right here.
Here are some of the fake blind kid clips so you don't have to search and give more views. Trigger warning for disability mockery.
Blind so we can win the money. What are a couple things? If you won the money, what would you do with the money? Blind, you can talk.
She's 4 years old and she has been blind since birth. And she can't see. So I think that's why you should give us the $1 million. So she could just be a happy kid, right? Right, Mila?
Yes.
Tell them what you be seeing since you can't see.
I can't see. I can't see the light. Where's Eric? Yeah, I keep saying that.
And he is blind, and so we're just gonna kind of talk about the things that are challenges for you on a daily basis and why it's so important for us to win this 7-day Disney cruise. So do you want to kind of tell them about your days and the challenges that you have being blind?
Some days when I'm like if I want to put on my shoes and stuff, it's really hard and it's not really like fair, and I feel like it's not like the best. Restart.
Shut up. I'm trying to give you a treat for the day.
Look, this is not sand.
It is sand. You're blind. You can't tell what things feel like anymore.
10 years old and she was born blind. And we're applying for the TikTok 10 grand prize because I feel like Tiara would deserve it. Because she could do with a blind dog.
Blind dog. A blind dog. A blind dog.
I mean, a guide dog. You could do with a guide dog, couldn't you? She's really struggling just lately. She's getting bullied quite a lot, aren't you, babe?
Yeah.
You get eyes shake. Yeah, she's getting bullied quite a lot. Last week she ended up in hospital because she bumped into a lamppost. She's had so many accidents, haven't you?
Yeah.
Bless her. She don't even know what colour she's wearing today. Do you? Do you? Tiara. Oh. Tiara also suffers with a stutter, don't you?
No.
So, from what I gathered through watching those videos, what I feel like the trend is parents say to their children, okay, we're gonna enter this prize, like we're gonna enter this competition, and the prize is XYZ. They come up with it because each of them had a different one. One said $1 million, one said $10,000, one said a Disney trip. So they tell their kids something like, there's this prize, it's a contest on TikTok, but to win, you have to pretend to be blind. And we have to convince them that you're actually blind. So the kid thinks that their job in that video is to convincingly play a real blind person. They don't think their job is to pretend to be blind, which is equally problematic. But they actually think that they're supposed to realistically play a blind person, and they're helping their parents fraudulently win a contest. That is this prank or trend of sorts. In case you don't know me and you've just stumbled upon this video, I myself am a blind woman. I've been legally blind my entire life. I was diagnosed with a rare progressive eye disease at 4 years old. I lost the majority of my vision at 14, and at 31, I live as a functionally completely blind person. I have a guide dog, I read Braille, I use a screen reader. I also run a business, have a romantic partner who I live with, an adorable guide dog, a loving group of family and friends in my life. I work out at the gym every single day, or I should, multiple times a week. I won't say every day, we won't exaggerate. I'm not that good, I'm not that committed. I live a happy, complete, full, successful life as a disabled content creator, speaker, corporate consultant, all the things. I love travel, sushi. I'm a person living a full life in every sense of the word. But that's not what you would think of blindness if all you had ever seen was this trend. And that is just one of the many problematic things that's happening in this trend. First off, what we see these kids portraying as blindness is a lot of ableist stereotypes, right? So tropes like, I can't even tie my shoes at 10 years old. I learned to tie my shoes at the same age as any other kid. And maybe it was slightly more difficult because I had to do it entirely tactilely through feel instead of looking, but I figured it out. Like I recently saw a video from another blind girl on TikTok who was talking about how she doesn't tie her shoes in a conventional way, but she figured out a way to tie them that works for her. Great. It's an example of how even if we don't do things in the same way, we can still do them independently. And worst case scenario, guess what? There's slip-ons. So to play this trope that like, oh, 10 years old, I struggle just to tie my shoes. That's how hard my life is. I can't do these basic things, is ableist and promoting negative stereotypes. Kids closing their eyes, looking cross-eyed, looking like their eyes straight up in the sky. Again, all rooted in ableist stereotypes. Many of us in the blind community have complete control over our eye movements. Going right, going left, going up, going down. Can I see? No, but I can still move my eyes just like anybody else can.
Just look in the direction of the camera.
Mm-hmm.
You can still look in the direction of your boyfriend over here.
Yes.
There you go.
And yes, while some diseases can change the visual appearance of the eye, for example, strabismus might cause your eyes to be slightly misaligned. That is not something to mock or replicate. Them closing their eyes and like waving their hands in the air. My boyfriend watched the videos with me and described some of this, which is how I know some of these visuals for anybody who's going to jump into the comments and ask and claim that I'm faking blind. I, unlike these children, am a real blind person, which is how I know all of these nuances, which is how I know that all of this is ableist stereotypical BS. And we as a community have been working so goddamn hard for so long. I myself have been posting content for 11 years here on social media, for 5 years over on TikTok, trying to educate about the fact that those things are stereotypes that were made up by the media, perpetuated by the media, and we have been trying to unravel that, to show the real life examples of what blindness can and does look like and how we do function every single day independently, capably, and then to have these parents, because I want to make it very clear, I'm not blaming these children. Some of these children are as young as like 4 years old. This is absolutely the parents' fault. These parents are promoting their child to learn these ableist stereotypes. And I always say that the key to eradicating ableism is education, and in particular, educating the younger generations, getting to them when they are young. Because we have like less than 4% representation in media right now, and the least of that is in children's media. We desperately need to get to children when they are young so they never learn ableism, because ableism, like so much discrimination in this world, is a learned behavior. So to be actively choosing to teach your child, oh, look up, that's what blind people do. Oh, like talk about your struggles, because blind people struggle so much. To be teaching them this ableism in those formative years is so utterly disturbing. Instead of teaching their children empathy, compassion, instead of teaching their children that disabled people come in all shapes and sizes, that disabled people are capable when given opportunity and access to accessible tools. Like, it is insane. As somebody who tries so hard to educate parents on how to educate their children, to see parents doing, like, actively doing the opposite and making a joke out of it, it's disheartening, it's frustrating, it's disgusting, it's disturbing, it's everything. And at the end of the day, it's actually wild to see, like, the one clip where the mom was like, she needs a blind dog, which the $10,000 wouldn't go to getting a blind dog, because we get guide dogs generally for free from schools that are charitable organizations, which they sounded like they had a UK accent. UK Guide Dogs does give their guide dogs for free to blind individuals in the UK who qualify. So the money wouldn't even be going to that. Yeah, ignorant. But also the fact that her child was the one who said, Mom, like, laughed and said, no, it's a guide dog. Like, the fact that the child knows better than the parent is so sad. It's so sad that we live in this world. In fact, in my new book, Unseen, How I Lost My Vision But Found My Voice, pre-order links down below for the audiobook and the regular print book, anywhere you buy books, including in the UK. It's gonna be in stores in the UK. So cool. Okay, anyways. In my book, like, I talk about how I deeply believe that so much of discrimination disabled people face is due to the misconceptions that media has perpetuated. And social media is just that. It is media. So these people are using a tool like media that has already been used to harm disabled people for so many decades and using it to continue to harm us. It's incredibly ironic that they are teaching their children to fake disability when real disabled people are so frequently accused of faking it. Real life disabled people every single day. I get comments every single day accusing me of faking my blindness, even still 11 years into making content. In fact, I just made a video all about this, so I'll have that linked at the end, reacting to fakers in the disability community and how, once again, all of that is rooted in ableism. And it's ridiculous that these parents are laughing at their child's portrayal of blindness. Because ultimately, by laughing at your child's struggles that they're claiming to have, you're laughing at real life blind people's struggles, right? Like, if I am the parent of a blind child who is struggling to learn how to tie their shoes because I am a sighted parent and I've only ever known how to do it visually, and I'm trying to learn how to teach my child to do this in a tactile way and overcoming that unique struggle or challenge, you're now laughing at that. Think of how that feels for that parent. Think of how disabled teenagers and preteens who are scrolling on social media and seeing those videos, laughing at their challenges that they may or may not even have. How does that make real life blind people feel? It's disturbing. And also, you're encouraging your blind children to make fun of blindness. There are real life blind kids potentially in their school, in their class, and if there isn't now, there may be. I, like so many blind people and like so many disabled people, did grow up being made fun of because of the fact that I was different. Kids see difference and they see it as vulnerability, and bullies seek out vulnerability. So you're encouraging your child to be a bully, to make fun of vulnerable people. And even if you're not teaching them to outright be mean and bully the child, bullying isn't just in mean words and things we do. It is in excluding. It's in leaving them out. It's in never broaching conversation with them, because all we see is how different they are from us. Instead of encouraging your child to see your sameness, your similarities, to bridge that gap. These videos are also encouraging another extremely harmful issue in our community, which is the pity narrative, the tragedy porn, right? We're encouraging these children to say how hard their life is, what a struggle it is, to give them pity that this prize would be life-changing because their life is so unfair as a blind person. We are continuing to drive the point home that being disabled, being blind, is a hard, negative, bad, inherently worse existence than all other existence. That is such a harmful point to drive home, and it is something that so many of us growing up disabled, we battle those feelings. And we don't necessarily battle them just because we inherently feel them, but because we've been told our whole lives by society that that is the truth, that our life isn't as valuable, that our life will never be as good as theirs. There's this really interesting contrast where we as disabled people fight to have as much independence and autonomy as possible, while these sighted non-disabled kids are being rewarded or encouraged to fake hardship and to fake struggle. Blindness isn't a costume, right? Like, I don't get to be blind while I film this video and then, like, I'm no longer blind. I get to go about and live my life in sighted ease. I am blind all of the time. This isn't like this funny thing to pretend to be for a moment. My struggles are always, and most of my struggles that I'm facing are because of society, not because of me as a disabled individual. So you're continuing to create these structures, these ideas in society that continue to make life harder for real life blind people every single day. And the reality is, ableism continues to be one of the most widely accepted forms of discrimination. And I know I often draw these comparisons when I talk about ableism to other forms of oppression and other forms of discrimination, but the reality is, like, we would never in a million years in today's day and age have a TikTok trend where we're encouraging children to do blackface. Because immediately when I say that, you're like, oh my God, that's insane. Yeah. Guess what, bestie? This is the exact same thing. But ableism continues to be accepted in ways that other discrimination is not. And it's so frustrating because I stand in solidarity with my other minorities because I know how it feels to be discriminated against. So it is so frustrating to continue to see the forms of discrimination and oppression that my community faces not taken seriously at large. And some of the people in these videos are minorities who probably have known what it feels like to face discrimination. So it's frustrating to see even my fellow minorities perpetuating this. Another unbelievably disturbing layer to this trend is that parents are literally teaching their children at young ages how to exploit people, how to manipulate people, that fraud gains you something. And I know you might be like, Molly, don't take it so seriously. It's just a funny trend. I'm sure at the end they reveal to the kid it's a prank. I don't care. What you're ultimately reinforcing in that child is that something like being disabled is something that can be used to manipulate. And that manipulating and fraud, exploiting something, gets you something to gain, like a prize or views or a laugh, right? Like all of those are in certain ways a prize. Even if it's not that $10,000 of that Disney trip, getting that laugh from your mom is validation. Getting those views or those positive supportive comments is something you are gaining through exploitation. To teach your child that is wild, wildly irresponsible, and a reminder that not everybody deserves to be a parent. And it's so weird to like see them commodifying disability. Yes, I understand that I make my money sharing my life as a blind person, but I'm a real blind person and I'm not doing it just to gain something. I'm doing it because I'm trying to advocate, because I'm trying to change the narrative that I did see in media that did harm my life and my identity and my existence and my community. And I saw social media very early on as a tool to combat that. So to see people commodifying disability for gain instead of advocating to create change is very frustrating. If you are a parent and you are watching this, I want to please encourage you to talk to your children about disability openly and honestly. I want to encourage you to normalize disability for them, to teach your children compassion and empathy. I also want to encourage you, whether you're a parent or not, to seek out content from real disabled content creators, to actively choose to educate yourself. It is free. I think the majority of it is super entertaining and fun, just as much so as any other content you'll be doom scrolling. So please seek this out. And I really want to encourage you. I fear with all of my videos like this that they just end up in the echo chamber. They just end up in the hands of people who already agree with this, who are already impacted by this. So please, if this resonated with you and you want to see this reach new people, please share this video with your wider communities so that people who might not understand the nuance of this issue can see this and learn. Disabled lives aren't a joke, a contest entry. We are not a costume. We are real people, and we frankly deserve so much better than this. If you enjoyed watching this video and you want more content like it, I encourage you to watch this one where I react to faking disability, or you can watch this video about movies that I recommend that have really great depiction of disability. Some of these will be great to watch with your kids. And don't forget to pre-order my book Unseen down below. Bye guys, thank you so much.